Today we are making tacos birria. Beef. These are bussin'. It's an easy, simple Instapot recipe. So let's get to it. Welcome back to Cooking with Kayla D. I'm Kayla, and this is my husband Randy. My disclaimer. If you haven't done so, please like, subscribe, and remember to hit that notification bell for all the latest episodes as they release. And here are your ingredients. This recipe serves 4 to 5 people. 2 to 3 pounds of chuck roast. 1 large white onion. You want to cut it in half. You're going to have half for your recipe for your broth and the other half for garnish serving. 1 head of garlic. 1/4 cup of tomato sauce. 1 bag of Chile Guajillo. You could also use California chilies if you don't have those. 5 bay leaves. 1 tablespoon of ginger, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of thyme, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 cup of chopped cilantro, 1 to 2 limes cut into wedges. You'll also want 16 to 24 ounces of melting cheese of your choice, mozzarella, Oaxaca, whatever it is that you would like to use. Also, you want 12 to 16 corn tortillas. And first off, you're going to go ahead and get your Instapot out. And you're going to get some water into your Instapot. I'm doing a half recipe, so I only put 3 cups. Now, if you're doing the full recipe, which I just listed, you will be doing 6 cups of water. After you have your water into your Instapot, you're going to drop a half of your onion and that entire head of garlic. Just cut the top off and stick the whole thing in there, the outside wrapping and all. And then you're going to go ahead and put in your tomato sauce. And once you have your tomato sauce in, add in 3 of your bay leaves and then your salt. And that's all you're going to add into this right now. You're going to mix it up and give it a stir. For your chuck roast, cut it into about 2-inch pieces, like little squares, about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. And then you're going to go ahead and just put your roast pieces right into your Instapot. Remember, my measurements will be off from what is in the recipe, as you see here in the video, because I did a half recipe because there's only 2 of us in the house. You'll put your Instapot lid on. Make sure to lock it. Make sure to turn that valve to where it's closed and sealed. And you're going to cook this for 1 hour on high pressure. And you let it slow release until the little silver thing falls down. Now, in the meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and work on our chilies. You're going to take your chilies, cut the stem off, open it up, take all the seeds and ribs out, and that is it. Then you're going to get a small saucepan and put some water in it, and you're going to put all of your chilies into that water. And I'm using, as you can see, Chile Guajillo, but you can also use the California chili as well, but it will be that Birria brand, most likely, and you can find that at most local Walmarts. And you're going to go ahead and boil that. Once it comes to a boil, turn it off and set it aside. Then you're going to go ahead and get you out a blender, or for me, I'm using my immerser. So I've got my immerser cup here, and I'm going to go ahead and take my chilies and pull them out of that water and stick them right into the cup here, or directly into your blender if you're using a blender. Remember, you're going to do the whole bag if you're doing a full recipe, and half the bag if you're doing a half recipe. And I think I did a half, and it was about 5 to 6 chilies. I don't remember exactly how many, but it was about that. So you're going to put that in there. Once you get all of your chilies into your blender, you're going to add some more garlic. You can do 2 cloves of garlic, or you can do a 1.5 tablespoons of crushed garlic if you buy it already crushed. And you're also going to need your ginger. You could either put just about 1 inch or 2 of a whole ginger piece into your blender, or like me, I had a little bit of paste left over, so I added some water to the tube, got it all out. It ended up being about 1 tablespoon. Here are all my dry spices that we talked about earlier, and I did add an extra teaspoon of salt into this, even though I have some in my broth, just to flavor this. And I crushed up my bay leaf and tossed it in there. There's 2 additional bay leaves in there, and we're going to blend that up as well. Once you have that in there, then you're going to go ahead, and your Instapot should be done by now. So you're not going to be doing this until your Instapot is done. Once your Instapot's done, take the lid off, and you're going to take a ladle, and you're going to ladle some of the broth from your Instapot right in to this blender. You're not going to be using your chili broth. You can go ahead and dump that, discard it. You're done with that. You're going to use some of the beef broth that came from your roast as it cooked in the Instapot. And you're going to go ahead and add that into the cup just till it covers everything up. Once it's covered, then you can go ahead and blend. And as you can see, it blended up well. I'm going to set that aside, and now we're going to work on our roast. So what we are doing here is we're removing that that garlic head and the half an onion from our pot, as well as the bay leaves from the roast that we cooked. And once you get all of that out, you'll go ahead and discard that and throw that out. And now that you've done that out, you're going to go ahead and just use that same dish plate and pile your meat up on it. Make sure you're getting everything out. You can strain your broth if you would like to. I did not strain mine. Just make sure to pull all of your meat out, because that's what you're going to use for your tacos. Now you're going to pour that slurry of chili mixture you made and blended up right into your broth. And make sure to stir that around well. Add some of that broth right into the cup or into your blender to make sure you get it all out, because that's all flavor. That's a piece of garlic right there. But you're going to go ahead and do that and stir it around. Like me, I fished it through. I found a couple of garlic bulbs. I just pulled them out and added them to my meat because it's already cooked through and mushy. So as I chop up my meat, it will chop up the garlic right into it. And as you can see, I just took 2 forks and just shredded the meat. It should fall right apart. You just want to get it shredded up pretty well so that it will fit right into your tacos when it's time to cook our tacos. Now that I have my meat shredded up, I'm going to take a little spoon of that broth with the chili sauce. I'm going to pour it over the meat, and I'm going to do it until the meat is almost completely covered with sauce, so that that meat does not dry out. And plus, now the sauce is already in there. You just kind of move it around. Just make sure that sauce is getting throughout the meat. And you just want to set this aside, and we'll start working on our cheese. So when I say melting cheese, I mean like a mozzarella cheese. This is Oaxaca cheese from Oaxaca, Mexico. And it is absolutely delicious. It is our favorite cheese. It is basically the Mexican version of mozzarella. It is so good on these tacos and just pairs well. You can get this at Walmart. There is a separate cheese section at Walmart that is just for the Mexican brand cheeses. It is a little bit more pricey, I will let you know now, but it is well worth it. You can also buy it already grated. You can also buy just mozzarella grated or grate it yourself. I just prefer to grate it myself. I think it melts better. It doesn't have that stuff on the outside of it that keeps it separated in the bag when it's pre-grated. So it's just really nice to have it like this. So just go ahead and grate it. And it's like string cheese, basically, the Oaxaca kind. It is like a huge rope of cheese that they put into a ball, and then it dries that way, and then that's how they package it up. So it might fall apart on you, and as you can see, there it is. It's just like your mozzarella cheese sticks. But yeah, just grate it as well as you can. If you're using this, like I said, you could go ahead and buy shredded cheese. They have it in the Mexican section, and they also have it in your regular cheese section. You can just get like mozzarella cheese or whatever type of melting cheese you so choose. But I highly recommend that it is something similar to mozzarella cheese, because it just makes these tacos. All you're going to have inside your taco is basically your meat and cheese, and it's going to be crispy on the outside, and it's for dipping into your broth. And here's just a little tip I wanted to share. Like, I use this box grater, and it is very sharp, and I would stick my hand in to clean it or pull the excess cheese from the inside out. Those slice pieces on the side that I'm pointing out right now, I stuck my hand in there once, and the top part of it sliced my finger to the bone. So be very careful when you are using a cheese grater. They may not look sharp, and that's not even the part that's supposed to slice it, and it sliced my finger to the bone. So just be extremely cautious when you're using any kind of sharp object in your kitchen. And now I'm going to go over the toppings for our tacos and in our broth. Now you can use also, I've seen thinly sliced radish and shredded cabbage finely sliced. You could add into your broth. We're using just the white onion chopped up and some cilantro with some lime wedges to squeeze right on top. Now, I've tried to simplify this recipe as much as I can to make this easy for you because the birria recipe is very long, enduring, and hard, and lots of steps. So, this is the simplified version. You're going to get your stack of your corn tortillas and get your broth pot right next to that and a plate right next to that with a rim on it so that the juice does not spill off of the plate. You're going to hold that corn tortilla by one little corner and you're going to dunk the entire tortilla into the broth, just leaving that one little part without broth on it. And once you have that up, you're just going to stack those tortillas right on top of each other into your plate with a rim lining. And you're wanting to do this, and this is what's going to give your tortilla that extra flavor while you're cooking it. Next, you're going to get a skillet, a large skillet over medium to medium high heat, and you're going to put some oil into your skillet. You want a shallow oil fry. You don't want it to be real high. You don't need a lot of oil. You want to get it to where that oil is pretty warm before you do your tacos. This is going to be a very fast process, so make sure you have everything ready to go. You need your meat next to your pan. You also need your cheese next to your pan. You need some type of serving spoon in each for you to easily grab it. You'll also want an instrument like thongs I'm using to move my tacos around and flip them over, but you'll also want something like a spatula or a flat paddle of some sort to hold it down if you need to hold down or to help you flip it. So just make sure you have these things next to the stove as well as some type of plate or something to put your tacos on as you're pulling them out. Now, depending on how large your skillet is, that'll be on how many you can fit in your pan at once. I do not recommend doing more than 2 at a time when you have them laying flat like this. So I always start with 2 when I first start. You're going to start to cook your tortillas, and as it starts to cook for like maybe 15 seconds, you do not want it to get firm at all. Flip that tortilla over. Now you're going to put some cheese on one side, put some meat on top of the cheese, and then you're going to add some more cheese on top if you like, but you don't have to. As you'll see here, I do some with extra cheese and some without. I like a lot more cheese in mine, and my husband does not. He does not like that much cheese. So I put cheese on 2 sides for me and on one side for him. And you're going to go ahead and flip that over. See how I told you might need 2 instruments to do this? And then you want to turn it to have the round side of the taco facing the rounded side of the pan. You can get more tacos in this way. And you're going to let that just cook and crisp up and start on your next taco. And you're going to want to do this kind of quickly because once that oil gets to a certain temperature, it'll start crisping them up so fast you can't flip them. So if you need a little bit more time, because you're just starting out doing this method, I would definitely cook this on medium instead of medium high. Lower that heat. There's nothing wrong with lowering. You're just going to be cooking a little longer, which is no big deal because, like I said, this is a simplified recipe. So now you're going to go ahead and let those 2 cook. While those 2 are cooking, we're going to go ahead and add in another taco shell and let that start to cook up a little bit. Once it gets to where it's warmed, all you're doing is warming it through so it's pliable and it doesn't break. I'm going to go ahead and check this one and see if it's ready to be flipped. Not really, but we're going to go ahead and flip it anyway. We can always flip it back. Now that that's ready, we'll flip this over. It's warmed through. We can add our cheese and our meat onto this. And then we can get that one flipped into half. And the whole point of this is birria is really like a beef stew broth. It's like a soup. And to utilize the leftovers, wonderful Mexicans, and I believe this was created in the state of Jalisco, Mexico, have come up with the fact of putting the meat with some gooey melty cheese, because who doesn't like meat and cheese together, right, into a tortilla shell and turning it into a taco dish with the leftovers. Well, America found out about this and they went crazy. This is like the hype of all hypes, the taco everyone is seeking out. For the past 2 years, this has been the #1 taco on like all the magazines and everything for food. It's like amazing. Everyone wants to get their hands on it. Everyone wants to learn how to make it. It is absolutely delicious. So that's why I decided, well, we eat them pretty often, even though they're a lot of work, but I have learned the more and more I make them how to simplify the recipe. And my husband was like, you need to share this on your cooking channel. You need to share this on your cooking channel. And I've been meaning to for months, and I just haven't. Every time I go to make it, I'm too tired to film. I'm not feeling well because I have lupus. So it's hard. So now I actually had a day where I was feeling good. I had everything in my freezer sitting there. So I was like, okay, we'll do it. We'll do it this time. So that's why I decided to go ahead and do it. And as you can see, you just keep flipping your little tacos over until they start to get crispy. And they won't be like hard crunchy, but they're going to be to where they're like, you're having texture. You're going to have that crunch. You're going to have that delicious, juicy, flavorful meat inside of it with that delicious melting cheese. And it's just like ooey gooey. You know, just like when you're eating pizza and that cheese just pulls off as you're putting it in your mouth and you're just salivating for that next bite. Welcome to Birria tacos. Like, these things are absolutely bussin'. Like, no doubt. They are. You're going to go ahead and just keep continuing to cook your tacos until they get like that. I went ahead and just used the plate that I had the wet tacos on to go ahead and just remove the tacos right off of there like that. Then I'm just going to move these to the back of my pan so then I can start building more tacos. For me and my husband, we eat 4 tacos each. I generally do not finish mine. I think I can get almost 3 down, or usually 3 in one bite of the 4th. But most definitely 4 is the top of the top. And I ended up just doing a half recipe, 4 tacos each, which was a little over a pound of the chuck roast. And our chuck roast was like 2.5 pounds. So I just put the other half back in the freezer already cubed up. So it's ready to make these tacos again another day. But as you can see, just continue cooking it like this until you have them stuffed and that your tacos are really crispy. Go ahead and stuff with the cheese. And actually we used just one ball of the Oaxaca cheese. I believe it was 14 or 16 ounces, and it was enough to make 8 tacos. So it tells you about how much cheese you're going to be using. It's quite a lot, and it ends up melting down, so it doesn't seem like it's a whole lot, but it's actually quite a lot of cheese. Now, if you have problems with dairy or whatever, then you can go ahead and always substitute it with a aged sharp cheddar or something like that, and it won't be melty and gooey, but at least you won't be having any issues with your dairy. You could also use dairy-free cheese. If you're a keto or low carb, you could also use keto low carb tortillas. I'll have a link in the description area for the low carb tortillas that I use. And you can also use like Siete brand tortillas. There's just so many options out there for you to be using, but I am a big fan of corn tortillas. I love corn tortillas. I love the flavor. I love the texture. I love everything about it. So one night I was watching Low Carb Love, and she had these tortillas, and I was like, babe, we gotta order them. I saw the price. I was like, oh my god, they're so expensive, but actually they're not. If you're thinking less carbs in my body, cleaner, healthier way of eating it, and it's something that I'm just not ready to give up right now, it's worth the price. So I ordered them. Come to find out, you can freeze them for a very long time and only pull out what you need. So what I do when my packages come in, I put them in the freezer, and I generally will order 3 to 6 at a time just to save some money. And I put them in the freezer. I always open up one package right away, and I separate it into 2. Sometimes I'll open 2 packages and separate them in half, and then put them back in the freezer, and then that way I can just pull a few out at a time. Lately we've been eating a lot of corn tortillas, so I just keep them in whole packages because we go through them so fast anyway. But they're really cool because I think they're only like 3 or 4 net carbs a piece, which is really, really good. And it's a corn tortilla, so it's really cool. And see, you continue to just cook your tacos like this, and then once you're done, then we'll go on to our next step. Next, you're going to want to get some soup bowls or soup cups and put some of that broth in there. And you're going to want to sprinkle in your toppings. I like cilantro and onion and lime. Randy, however, just likes the cilantro with the lime juice. Sometimes if I have like finely shredded cabbage or something, I'll add that, or thinly sliced radishes. It's very good. You can go ahead and eat it with your spoon or drink it out just like you're drinking a cup of coffee or warm broth. Also dip your tacos into it and take a bite. I highly recommend doing that. Take a bite of your taco without it, and then your next bite, dunk it into your broth and take a bite. And once you do that, you will not want to have it without the broth again. So I like to dunk my taco right into the broth and take a bite, And then as I'm chewing and eating my taco, I sip on my broth like it's a hot cup of coffee with my taco while I'm eating it. It is just so good. Just trust me. Follow the process. You'll love it. You can also add some cilantro, onions, whatever you want to your tacos. I always like to put a little bit on mine because that's just the way I like it. I like to be authentic. And plus, the flavors pop. It is so delicious. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. It was fun making it. So there you go. You've got your tacos birria. Does that not look absolutely delicious? So stay tuned to the end. I have a beautiful video of the sunrise over the ocean at the end of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Therefore, as the elect of God, holy and beloved, put on tender mercies, kindness, humility, meekness, and long-suffering. Colossians chapter 3, verse 12.
And here we have a beautiful video of the sunrise here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina that we wanted to share with you. I went ahead and left the audio on here, of course, because you can hear the ocean waves crashing below. So there might be like a little bit of wind and also some cars here and there, but isn't that sunrise just absolutely gorgeous? We thank you for being here on Cooking with Kayla D. We ask that if you haven't done so, to please like, subscribe, and share our channel. When you like our videos, it does help keep us into the algorithm so other people see our videos. So we would truly appreciate if you help us out by doing that and hitting that like button. It always is such a wonderful feeling when you have such a wonderful cooking community out here, and having folks like you support creators channels like us. I mean, it's just amazing, and I really do hope you know how much that means to us. And also, we say stay in that kitchen and keep on cooking. Until next time, adios. For more delicious recipes, you can click the icon here on the right, and to subscribe to our channel, the icon here on the left. God bless.